What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my picks for MLB
Friday, September 18th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, let's take a look at this 12-game main slate. So at the pitcher position, I like Tyler Glasnow from the Tampa Bay Rays playing the Baltimore Orioles. So he doesn't have a great pitching advantage here, but he is pitching against a low salary batting team, and he is only giving up a .673 OPS versus righties. Now, it's not his best ball, but the Orioles have only hit 9 out of his last 52 pitches, so they're only batting a .173 batting average. Tyler Glasnow is $10,100 FanDuel salary and $400 less on DraftKings. He has an ERA of 4.47. He's 3-1 on the season, pitching an average of 88 pitches per game, averaging 35 fantasy points per game. He scored 36, 34, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games, so he's been on fire. So I like Tyler Glasnow here versus the Baltimore Orioles. And if you're looking to pay down at pitcher, you're looking for a low salary pitcher that might get it done for you here tonight, take a look at Rich Hill with a 7% pitching advantage over the Chicago Cubs. Rich Hill, he's only giving up a .646 OPS versus righties, and he's facing 5 righties here tonight. And the Cubs have only hit 12 of his last 56 pitches, batting a .214 batting average, and he's only $6,900 FanDuel salary and $700 more on DraftKings. He has an ERA of 3.81. His record is 2-1 this year, pitching an average of 72 pitches per game. He's averaging 21 fantasy points per game, and he's scored 36, 24, and 10 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So you got a variety of a range of outcomes here. He could get you 30 plus, he could get you 10. So it's somewhat risky, but you're not paying a lot of salary for him. So you're going to have all this salary to fill into your batter positions. And we got some good batters for you here. So I like Rich Hill here versus the Chicago Cubs. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher position. Here's a value play for you. I like Kevin Plawecki with a 60% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Jordan Montgomery. Kevin Plawecki is batting 8% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a .761 OPS versus lefties. And Jordan Montgomery, he doesn't pitch that well versus righties. 52% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a 1.096 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Montgomery yet, but Kevin is only $2,500 FanDuel salary and $1,000 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. He's averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 10, 7, and 0 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Kevin Plawecki here versus Jordan Montgomery. Okay, who do we have at the second base position? I like Jurickson Profar with a small batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Yusei Kikuchi. Jurickson Profar, he's batting 7% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a .783 OPS versus lefties. And Yusei Kikuchi, he's giving up a .778 OPS versus switch hitters. Profar is 3 for 6, batting .500 with a 1 OPS versus Kikuchi. He's $2,900 FanDuel salary and $400 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 32, 12, and 6 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Jurickson Profar here versus Yusei Kikuchi. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Justin Turner with a 21% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Ryan Castellani. Justin Turner bats 11% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .857 OPS versus righties. And Ryan Castellani, he doesn't throw very well versus righties. He throws his worst ball versus righty batters, 10% worse than his other pitches. He's giving up a .892 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Castellani yet, and Turner is $3,600 FanDuel salary and $1,600 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's scored 9, 9, and 16 fantasy points in his last 3 games, projected at 11.8 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Justin Turner here versus Ryan Castellani. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. This has got to be my favorite play on the slate. This guy's a lock for me tonight. I like Xander Bogaerts with a 66% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Jordan Montgomery. Xander Bogaerts is batting 14% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a .985 OPS versus lefties. And Jordan Montgomery, he doesn't pitch that well versus righties. 52% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a 1.096 OPS versus righties. And Xander Bogaerts is 5 for 11, batting a .455 batting average and a 1.045 OPS versus Montgomery. He's only $3,600 FanDuel salary, and he's $1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 9, 6, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's projected at 11.7 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Xander Bogaerts here versus Jordan Montgomery. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I like Giancarlo Stanton with a 51% batting advantage over Martin Perez. Stanton is batting 30% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a 1.328 OPS versus lefties. And Martin Perez, he pitches his worst ball versus righty batters, 22% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .809 OPS versus righties. And take a look at this. Stanton is 3 for 5, batting .600 with a 2.467 OPS versus Perez. 2 of those 3 hits were for home runs. He's $3,800 FanDuel salary and $500 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season, and he scored 34, 3, and 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 11.2 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Giancarlo Stanton here versus Martin Perez.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.